4:21 p.m. It's August 9th, 2023 for a Thursday. We were John Zeros in California. And the news gets battered. I mean, about 5 or 6 people dead because of the Maui fire. And you still have out of control fire on the big island of Hawaii. I was watching the news most of the day. And I take a siesta break because for me it's getting depressing as hell. But out there, it's just devastating seeing an island getting torched to death. I mean, there are certain portions of it that are still intact, but the tourist areas of Maui, we didn't even know what the hell was going on with the fires until CBS Morning News posted the stuff on social media, and I was looking at it. So I had to dig, and then I saw their clipping that they put on the news. They had an official website at their phone or the news stations, and I was watching this damn thing. And I was trying to make this indication. I'll have to relabel my videos on this one. It was a high pressure squeezing them from the north. It was Dora, the hurricane, sliding past them on the south side, heading west. And because of the pressure gradients we got there, it was steering the winds right across the islands. They already got enough drought as it is, and they also have enough heat as it is. But you also have fuel. What do you have? You've got a fire. When the winds are going through the canyons and going through the mountains and heading to the lower levels, they're heating up. Makes it more dangerous and deadly. So the fires are heading towards the edges of the island. They're not burning up the island. They're burning downhill and torching every town it gets its hand on. FEMA's trying to respond. The U.S. Navy's trying to respond. Coast Guard's been responding. They got their National Guard over there responding. And we can't. I mean, it would have been nice actually, and the Navy actually had a couple more water tenders or something. Help pump some water on the damn fires or get some aircraft on it. We're getting information, and we're getting in piecemeal and chunks at this point. And it was just depressing the hell out of me just watching all this damn shit. I mean, it's bad enough I was going to be psyching myself up for Trumplicans and stuff on YouTube about it, and then Trump in his mouth, and let's see this. And it was tearing me apart. I talked to my therapist about it. I was trying to get to the reasons why, and I was trying to rush them out, but that situation, looking at the fire and seeing the devastation happening at that point over there may have been more reasons somewhere inside here that was still driving me nuts. And I'll tell you one thing, what drives me crazy concerning about guilt trip, how everything else I have right now is intact and good. And I see Hawaii. I see the state of Hawaii going through hell. They got tourists being transported over to Oahu. They've got more issues than California does concerning about housing issues. Maui's especially going to have housing issues left and right, and they were already struggling with it anyway. But tourism is going to die out a little bit on Oahu. Actually, not on Oahu, but on Maui. When you go to Maui, you go for the beaches, you go for the surfing, you know Oahu's got it, but Maui is they consider it the prime jewel and ancient, and how it's set for touristy, and yet It's going to take them decades to get the lushness as they used to have. I always wanted to go to Hawaii. I always wanted to see the island of Hawaii. If I had the money, I would have taken a Norwegian cruise going through the island chains. Lahani's gone. Lahani's gone. It was a tourist town on Maui, the northwest side, I think. All those roads are all impacted because of the fire out there. It's just devastating. But the whole town, a whole touristy town, CNN was talking to one of the radio reporters. There was a other town that wasn't being affected as much because of the wind directions, because of the pressure gradients squeezing the winds towards the west and not east. At least this reporter's home and family was safe, thank God. But it was still devastating to hear this, that Laani is a port city. Meaning if there was a tourist group coming through on a cruise ship, or even flying in, or coming in by ferry boat, they would be accepting tourists and guests and maybe public transportation. They ain't got it. They haven't got it. It's like, if one will equate this in the land base, let's just say the bus yards that we depend upon in Kern County for transporting from to and from LA County. The bus yards that we got in Mojave, our Kern Transit. We got the route 100 and 250 going from, let's see, 250 from Cal City, California City, all the way to Lancaster. It goes through Roseman. First it hits Cal City, it hits Mojave, then it hits Roseman, and then it hits Lancaster. The 100 comes directly from Bakersfield, goes through Tehachapi, goes into Mojave, and then hits Roseman and gets out. We're a hub of sorts. We get two of the lines. But Mojave is the hub because they also have another bus line going through there. It would be devastating for, let's just say, if we were totally dependent upon bus transportation. Let's just say, for example, that we were isolated somehow and we couldn't get through with our cars, but almost consider the cars as boats. Anyway, I'm going to turn on the news. I'm going to be missing a little bit, but here is CNN.
The shops and store buildings near the Lahaina harbor burnt to the ground. At least 6 people are dead. Crews are now racing to find others who were not able to get out. And we at Out Front have obtained this video. This is taken from the water. And look at this. You can see the smoke filling the air as fires continue to burn. It's like an apocalypse, as we said. Popular tourist sites like the sugarcane train, outlets of Maui, completely destroyed. We've obtained these pictures as well. Thousands displaced from their homes in a chaotic evacuation that seemed to catch many off guard. Look at that. It's like images, these images that we've received. It's almost like things that we've seen in Ukraine. Bill Weir is Out Front.
We never anticipated in this state that a hurricane, which did not make impact on our islands, will cause this type of wildfires.
While Hurricane Dora is hundreds of miles south of the Hawaiian Islands, the storm brought winds of up to 80 miles an hour to Maui, turning the tinder-dry hillsides here into a blowtorch and catching hundreds of people between flames and the Pacific Ocean. Nobody was prepared for this. Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke issued an emergency proclamation Tuesday, and Governor Josh Green is returning to the state tonight.
He is cutting his trip by a week, and that tells you the magnitude of how grave we think the situation is.
Thousands are in evacuation shelters, and rescue operations are underway for both Maui and the Big Island of Hawaii, where several other fires are burning as well.
Right now, the priority is for saving lives, preventing human suffering, and then mitigating great property loss.
Everyone I know in Lahaina, their homes have been burned down.
Lahaina is on fire.
In one of the hardest hit areas, the charming tourist mecca of Lahaina, the Coast Guard said it rescued 12 people who jumped into the ocean trying to escape the flames. Officials say thousands are without power, the 911 emergency system has been down at times, and hospitals are overwhelmed with burn patients, at least 3 in critical condition.
It has turned very serious and very dire.
Most striking to so many residents, just how fast the flames spread.
At one point, we were sitting there, and I was like, feeling the wind shifting, and I said to my friend, I was like, should we turn the radio on and see if it's like, things are getting bad? But I mean, I didn't get a text message. It was all just like word of mouth, like people running down the street saying like, you need to get out. There were guys riding around on bicycles just screaming at people to leave.
With hundreds of homes and businesses feared destroyed, the extent of the damage won't be known for days, but images from the sky gave a glimpse of the destruction. Overnight, more than 1,000 travelers had no choice but to sleep on airport grounds after several flights were canceled. Officials in Hawaii now discouraging non-essential travel to the Aloha State.
Even as of this morning, planes were landing on Maui with tourists. This is not a safe place to be.
Bill Weir, CNN, en route to Maui.
And out front now, Dustin Kaleopu, who had to evacuate from the wildfire in Maui and lost his home. And Dustin, I am so sorry for such a loss. I know your family has lived in that home for 4 generations, and just you can't imagine what you're going through right now. I know you've got family members you still haven't even been able to get in contact with. I mean, how are you even managing right now?
Honestly, I've not slept in over 24 hours. I spent all night, all through the morning, scrolling through my phone looking for family members, trying to get in touch with my mom. I know that she's safe. I know where she is. But like I said to another interviewer earlier, my voice was broadcast to New Zealand before I got to speak to my mom and let her know that I was safe. The infrastructure here is not capable of handling this kind of tragedy.
Dustin, we're looking at images of Lahaina that we've just received just from the harbor, and it looks like a war zone. It looks like it's been bombed out. I mean, it is like an apocalypse, and I know you just heard there people talking about just the shock of how fast it moved, right? I mean, this is a shopping center. It's just completely destroyed. Tell me about the moment you realized the fire was spreading towards you. Were you also just shocked by the speed?
I wasn't home when the fire had started. I was staying at my brother's house, like a mile or 2 away from home, and I live with my dad and my grandpa. So my dad called me and said, "Hey, I heard there's a fire. I can't get in touch with your grandpa. Go and check on him." And I get to him. It's windy. There's a little bit of smoke, but nothing major is going on. I mean, there's trees down in our yard, but nothing bad. My brother ends up joining us, and we fall asleep because there was nothing else to do. Everything was closed, no electricity. We woke up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and the wind started howling, and the smoke started getting closer. My brother took a drive 2 blocks from our house, and he noticed that his office building was on fire. Then the smoke started getting thicker and blacker, and the condominium across the street from our house looked like it had started to catch fire as well. And it took until about 4:15 when my neighbor's yard had caught on fire, and I told my grandpa that we needed to go. And I know that he and I put it off as long as we could because we didn't think that we would lose everything like we did yesterday. We thought we'd be safe. 5 years ago, the same thing happened with a hurricane causing a fire, and the fire department was at our door letting us know that we needed to evacuate, but this time there was nothing. Like the woman had said in that earlier clip, it was all word of mouth.
Yeah.
No warning at all. We had to wait until everything was on fire because we had no ability to know really how how much of it was really going on.
I know that you talk about your father and your grandfather, and I know your dad actually went back to your house about an hour after you had evacuated because he wasn't sure if you'd made it out. Right, he was going to check for you. What did he see?
Nothing. Our entire street was burned to the ground, and he had come from work after not talking to me. This is about 5 o'clock now. He had not talked to me since 10:30 that morning, yesterday morning, and he had seen nothing. And he's driving his truck through the street, which is on fire. There are down power lines. He's driving over rubble, trying to look for us. So my brother had told me that he would stay back on the side of the highway to look for my dad and to go to our meeting spot that we had agreed on. And he caught my dad in the line of traffic evacuating town, was able to flag him down, pulled over. When my dad realized that it was my brother, he had completely lost it because he had assumed that everybody had died in the fire just by how drastic things had been when he got there after being at work all day.
I can only imagine how it felt when he realized you were alive.
It was bittersweet. It was a lot of emotion and a lot that we're still processing.
I can only imagine as you're still dealing with this and then the fires. Dustin, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we continue to cover that. As we said, Bill Weir is en route right now. Next, President Biden is heading to Salt Lake City tonight, but FBI agents shot and killed a Utah man accused of threatening his life earlier today. We have the breaking details next. And whiplash, dozens of arson attacks throughout Russia, now leaving Russians on edge. The Kremlin blames Ukraine, but our Matthew Chance is actually in Moscow with a story that you will see first out front.
Quite, quite the busy day. Uh, I was trying to tell my therapist what it was like to live in a ring of fire of sorts. Every every fire season, every year when I was living in the San Fernando Valley, there was no summer that we didn't have a fire. Or almost. This small fire in the hills turned out to be a large ones, and then throughout my life living over there for about 38 years before moving out in '05. That's what I was used to is the fires in the hillsides and in different areas. Riverside would go up, San Bernardino would go up, portions of San Diego would go up, Northern Cal would go up, and the Angeles forest areas that would go up. Sometimes we would see the fires, and sometimes we would see the smoke or get the remnants and smell the damn thing in the air. I come out here to the Antelope Valley with the family, and then we had to have our own damn fires coming close to us. Try living in an apartment complex, and then you see the fire about 2 or 3 miles away, and you see the smoke. It scares the hell out of you, especially when it was coming through the hillsides or on the inner sides of the Antelope Valley. Even grass fires when they happen. Imagine us didn't have the cars and the buses to get the hell out of there, or had limited transportation to get the hell out. We'd lose the bus systems, and those trapped over there would be trapped. People are jamming through the streets trying to get the hell out of there, trying to get evacuated to Oahu, or maybe to the east side, maybe to the outer edges where fire hadn't touched. And I'm not talking close to the west side, I'm talking to the east side of Maui, where the wind wasn't blowing as badly, or it's still untouched. I don't know how we can equate it out here. It's an island nation. Traditions, landscape, tropical. I keep forgetting sometimes that even tropical islands will go through regrowth. It takes it years to recover, or trying to start to recover anyway. I, I'm having issues. Yeah, sorry. I was checking other news situations happening. Apparently, Governor Sanctimonious of the failing state of Florida is now banning Shakespeare. I'm crying for the people of Hawaii. I'm crying for the state and for those who've lost their homes and lives. And then I gotta hear this crap. Never ends.